clear. Got Axelrod?
Tonight on WMBF News at 11.
We haven't seen this level of rain in the low country in 1,000 years.
Historic rainfall takes its toll on the Carolinas.
We have lost everything. What I got on my body is what we have.
Roads washing away. And cars stranded in the middle of streets that now look more like rivers.
We don't see stuff like this here in South Carolina, so this is the first. It's shocking, it's scary.
Dramatic new video shows the tense moments as people are rescued from their car, hanging on for dear life as water surrounds them. Authorities warning residents tonight to stay home and out of these treacherous waters.
We have just are in the midst of a once-in-a-millennium event here in South Carolina.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News at 11.
We're continuing our team coverage of the historic weather that's been happening all over the state. New details on where we stand at flood levels. But first, Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold lets us know if this storm is going to get any worse.
Caitlin, I wish I had better news here on this Sunday night. We had a little bit of a break there right around sundown, but the band, the big fire hose we've been talking about all weekend long, trying to reorganize, trying to redevelop now, and I'm getting a little more concerned, especially about the South Strand, Myrtle Beach southward into Georgetown County, seeing some of that heavy rain. Let's talk about the warnings we have in place. Basically everybody remaining under flood warnings. Yes, some of the street flooding has eased up in spots, but all of the creeks and the streams and the rivers all completely out of their banks. So those flood warnings in effect through the rest of the night tonight. As far as where the rain is coming down steadiest and heaviest right now, Myrtle Beach up 501 towards Conway, where we had all kinds of major problems today, including around the Carolina Forest area. Seeing some moderate rain right now, kind of easing up a little bit on the north side of 501. But notice as you head down 701 towards those areas that were also hard hit over towards Forest Brook, dealing with some more moderate rain coming down right now. But this is what really has me concerned. This band here offshore, extending way out over the ocean, getting kind of energized right now. Notice I got the arrows on here sort of pointing to where that band is going to be heading. It's sort of going to waffle back and forth as we head through the next couple of hours, but you see it's pointed at the beaches. So I'm really concerned now from Myrtle Beach southward into Georgetown after the, let's see, it's coming up on 12 o'clock. Let's say after 1 o'clock or so, that's when that really heavier rain starts to work its way on shore. Going to have to see how much of that holds together, but definitely that flood threat is there. So, yeah, there's the highlighted area, basically the South Strand into Georgetown County for the greatest threat of more significant flooding developing overnight tonight. We're still talking about a couple more inches of rain to go as we head through the day tomorrow. I'll let you know when it all finally winds down coming up.
Just into our newsroom, 5 hospitals in the Columbia area could possibly be evacuated due to a lack of water. The city has experienced a number of water main breaks that they're currently working to repair. Authorities say the lack of water creates issues for both patients and fire extinguishing systems. The call is up to the hospitals at this point, according to the South Carolina Emergency Management Division. And as we continue to monitor new developments in this storm, there's a lot to look at in the hours, the days, and the weeks to come, especially in terms of cleanup from these floodwaters and assessing the damage left behind. Connor McHugh went to some of the hardest hit areas locally. He's live right now in one of them. Connor?
Well, we're here in this Carolina Forest neighborhood off West Perry Road, which has seen some of the more serious flooding we've seen so far today. Now, this area has seen about 5 to 10 inches of rain over the past few days, but if you were to just walk a few hundred feet down there, it would seem like a lot more than that. Now, like many other communities around the area, there's not much more for some of the folks who live around here to do except for wait for this to finish up and wait for it to dry out.
As the record rain came down around the Carolinas Sunday, each location had its own challenges.
It's just been a rough day for a lot of folks.
For these families in the Wampee community, the Waccamaw River kept creeping too close for comfort.
Oh, it's been treacherous. It's a lot of work to empty a big house in a small amount of time.
Families say flooding this bad rarely happens, but the last time it did was more than 15 years ago. That September storm was better known as Hurricane Floyd.
We'll remodel and start all over again like we always do. with a smile on her face.
In other parts of the Grand Strand, it was too late for sandbags and barriers. In Calabash, folks waded through knee-deep water. And near Georgetown, Highway 17 was near unrecognizable. Even in Myrtle Beach, the streets were drowning.
It didn't take long with that big deluge. It took about 10 minutes to fill up.
Just up the highway in Carolina Forest, some homeowners saw a nearby retention pond flood everything. With no other choices, some stocked up and stayed home. But the majority found some way to get out, found a safer, drier home for the next few days.
Now, there are still some folks around here that are staying in their home despite the weather, but many have left. Some have even been evacuated. Some of the ones that we spoke to that did get a chance to leave say they hope over the next few days when they start to come back and visit this area, they hope that that damage is not as dramatic as the sites. For right now, I'm live in Carolina Forest. Connor McHugh, WMBF News.
A number of local school districts will not be open tomorrow. New tonight, Marlboro County schools will be closed along with Marion, Georgetown, and Williamsburg County schools. Staff and students are asked to stay home. In Florence County, school districts 1, 2, 3, and 5 also closed, as well as Dillon County districts 3 and 4. We have all those closings scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and colleges also canceling classes tomorrow due to the weather, including Coastal Carolina, plus day classes at Florence, Darlington Technical College are also canceled, and Millermont needed to reschedule new student orientation to Tuesday. This is just a portion of those school changes for tomorrow. Head over to the story on the homepage of WMBFnews.com for that complete list. Multiple rescues have been happening all across the state thanks to dangerously high water. Katrina Helmer is where she just saw one of those rescues in motion on 701 and Mill Pond in Conway. Katrina, tell us all about that.
Yeah, well, this intersection right behind me, that's the 701 Mill Pond intersection, and it is blockaded right now. There are cones. There is a sign that says do not cross through here, and we actually did just see another vehicle try to make its way through here, causing massive wakes and waves as it did. Now, if you turn around this way a little bit, we can actually see a car that has stalled out, and it is stuck out here. And as we move even further, this river of water is crashing by this business, Conway Feed and Garden, and it's just literally a massive river that's flowing in behind the business. Now, I spoke with the business manager as he was out here checking on the business, and he says so far everything is dry inside. They moved all of the feed off of the ground, but they will be coming in a couple times again just to make sure that everything is okay. And like you said, Caitlin, we did see a rescue happening while we were out here. A car tried to drive through. It stalled. It got stuck. And some bystanders actually came out to try and help that person get out of the car, and they had to tow the car through the parking lot. So it's definitely a dangerous situation. And when we first got out here, it was deeper in some parts, and now the water has shifted and it's deeper in other parts. So when those barriers are up, they're serious. Do not drive through here. For now, reporting live in Conway, I'm Katrina Helmer.
And now that it's dark, those dangers are even more hazardous. Well, new at 11, the Coast RTA will not be running its buses in Horry and Georgetown counties tomorrow. Officials say they canceled all fixed route and paratransit service because of the dangerous road conditions. Right now, officials say they plan to be back on schedule Tuesday, but they'll make that final decision by the end of tomorrow. We'll be sure to keep you updated on that. Sound there of crews trying to jumpstart a car after it was stalled in floodwater along Myrtle Ridge Road in Horry County. New video from our area tonight. The water there just too deep for some cars to pass through. Similar scene we're seeing over much of our coverage area. Crews from Horry County Fire Rescue needed to help the stalled cars near Chateau Drive as well. And the South Carolina Highway Patrol has reported multiple closures due to rain and flooding. Here are just a few of those. In Horry County, Highway 9 and 31 are closed, as well as the exit ramp to Faro Parkway from 17. Plus, I-95 closed from I-20 to I-26. And city crews in Myrtle Beach have put barricades in various locations. Some roadways are impassable. Specific roads will be provided as we get them here into our newsroom. You can head to our website, WMBFnews.com, for a full list of those closures. And people living in Florence County are under a mandatory curfew this evening, told to keep off the roads or face jail time starting at 7 tonight. WMBF News reporter Audrey Bisk has the latest from one of the hardest hit areas there, the Black Creek neighborhood. She joins us live tonight.
That's right. Right now, I'm standing at the Palm at Oakdale Golf Course. Now, the dam earlier today from Oakdale Lake completely swept through the entire golf course. You can see this water behind me is nearly reaching the road. Now, fortunately, West Florence Fire and police have been monitoring the area periodically since we've been here over the hour, making sure that the neighborhoods are safe. This is what the golf course looked like earlier today. All of the water is draining into Forest Lake, which can create a flooding hazard as well. Many neighbors were outside keeping an eye out on water levels and making sure their homes were safe. This wasn't the only problem area for the county today. We showed you live coverage from the entrance to Black Creek Road, where it was completely flooded. There were numerous boat rescues, and Windy Hill and West Florence fire crews helped people who needed to evacuate from their homes. One resident who has lived near the creek his entire life stayed out today and used his boat to get to his neighbors.
Just checking out, checking on everybody. Just make sure everybody's okay that's back there. There ain't but a couple people back there in the homes.
Andrew Golden with Florence Emergency Management Team has life-saving tips for anyone in the PD.
Don't drive through that heavily watered areas because you don't know how deep it is. You don't know what the ground is like underneath them. You don't want to drive over that stuff. And you could end up causing harm to yourself or the responders that have to go out there and get you out of that situation.
Now, because this countywide curfew will last until sunrise tomorrow morning, the emergency crews advise people to please stay off the roads tonight if you do not need to drive, because water levels are expected to rise. Now, I'm here reporting live in Florence. Audrey Bisk, WMBF News.
Right now, there are 3 shelters open in Horry County. Here's the list on your screen. Risen Christ Lutheran Church, open for people in the North Strand. It's on North Kings Highway in Myrtle Beach, just south of Barefoot Landing. Also, Beach Church on George Bishop Parkway, serving as a shelter. And Conway Recreation Center is open on Mill Pond Road between Highway 378 and Highway 501. There are also a number of shelters open in Georgetown County. 2 are on Church Street at J.B. Buck Education Center and at Beck Recreation Center. And also open to people tonight, Waccamaw Regional Recreation Center on Duncan Road in Pawleys Island, and Andrews Elementary School on County Line Road in Andrews. Plus, Florence County First Baptist Church in Pamplico is open to people stranded in that area. The shelter is inside their Family Life Center. Well, coming up, we have some incredible new video of rescue crews saving a woman from rushing floodwaters. Hear the dramatic details behind this video next.